Good evening, Basement Politics Rush Hour Report. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Today is Tuesday, April 19th. That's right, folks. 22. Good evening. It's Freddie Vasquez with the Basement Politics Rush Hour Report. Your evening Rush Hour Report. News, weather, and traffic updates. What's the current temperature? Cold? Yeah, cold. Current temperature is 39 degrees. We're back to our low. In fact, when I did the morning rush hour report and gave you the weather, it was 39 degrees. And I'm back on. And it's 39 degrees again. High up today was 50 degrees. But it's cold now. And I'm going to rush out of here because today, in a little while, in about a half hour, Senator Shelley Mayer and Nader Sage will be discussing the budget. And I want to get over there and see that, and maybe ask some questions. What do you think? Anyway, if you're traveling on the road, Cross County is always packed. Slow moving on the Cross County, slow moving on the Hutch, slow moving on 87, slow moving everywhere, but the Cross County is the worst. You have areas that are bumper to bumper, not moving at all. So if you could avoid this Cross County, I would. I definitely would. Moving on before I get out of here. I want to go over this article here. Oh, and by the way, actually, before I go over this article, I do want to give a shout out to County Legislator Christopher Johnson. I spoke to Legislator Johnson earlier today. He called my office to say, "Hey, Freddie, I saw the podcast and I wanted to just clear some things." And I said, "Look, I respect that. I respect that." He called me up and, told me about, some of the things that I've spoken about and I mentioned, and I appreciate it. Look, I don't always get it right, and I'm not saying I was wrong. Some of it was opinion, but I respect the fact that he actually called and spoke to me like a gentleman, right? And gave me some information, and I'm not about anybody, just information in terms of politics and stuff like that. And, so I appreciate that. I have a lot of respect for that because he doesn't just, some of them don't want to come on because their handlers are saying they can't come on the podcast. They don't speak to me. Some have and then stopped. Some still do. But I respect that. And I told him I would mention it on the podcast. He had no problem with that. So I appreciate you calling me. Now I do. I really respect that because if a constituent has concerns or complaints, regardless if they're angry when they say it or how they say it. If it's a concern or complaint and you're the elected official that is tasked with representing that area where the constituent lives or the constituent or however or whatever, and calling to find out what the issue is about and seeing if you can have some clarity on it is the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. And by the way, I do want to mention, in speaking with County Legislator Christopher Johnson, he did mention that he was the only one, and I don't think he was saying it to diss anybody. He just was stating fact. Okay, I don't want to, because I told him that I like to dramatize things a little bit. So, but he was the only one that voted against alienating parkland, the JFK Marina. Not that he said it in a way where, again, I don't want to create no controversy, where he was talking about anyone else. It wasn't about anyone else. It was about the fact, because I had asked a question, right? And he said, I'm not sure because some of that stuff is city business and he's not privy to it. But he knows that when he was in the city council, he was the only one, he was the one vote, no, not to alienate that parkland, the JFK Marina. So shout out to Christopher Johnson, County Legislator Christopher Johnson. And just what I ask is that if the city council not doing a job, you need to step in. I know you're not supposed to, you got to let people do their job. You don't want to step on toes. I get that. But somebody got to step in because they're trying to give away our parks, man. And by the way, we're getting that park back over there in Bronxville. So the people of Mount Vernon and Yonkers can use it again. It was given to Bronxville High School to play games there. But it's coming back to Yonkers and Mount Vernon. I'm sorry, Mount Vernon and Yonkers. It's over there. 3 towns intersect. So I want to mention that it's coming back to Yonkers for Parkland, public park. But the JFK Marina, they're trying to take that away from us. So he's got to let the city officials, city council people do their jobs. However, sometimes maybe, it takes like, intervention from up above. And I don't mean God. Nobody can intervene when it comes to God. He's the ultimate. But when it comes to city council, yeah, county legislator, definitely. And I get it. I respect what you said. But I'm just saying, they're going to take away that part. So I wanted to show an article, and I do want to send my condolences to Reverend Coleman, the president of the NAACP here in the city of Yonkers. I hear that his mom passed away. So I want to send out my condolences to Reverend Coleman and the family. Again, we send our condolences, and we'll keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. It's never an easy thing. It's actually what a day, actually. The second time I've was notified of a death today. Actually, I found out one of my cousins' dad died. So my condolences to you. Anything you need, I'm here. I already told you that, but please, it's tough. That's the hardest thing in this world, losing someone you love. Like that, I can't even deal with. Anyway, moving on. Yonkers Black clergy support redevelopment of Glenwood Power Plant. This is in the Yonkers Times. Hey, Dan Murphy, did you take into consideration some of the things I said? I hope so. Moving on. This is the rendering of proposed redevelopment of the Glenwood Power Plant on Hudson River, northwest Yonkers, where they want to take away our public park. A proposed redevelopment plan along the Yonkers riverfront got a much-needed boost last week when members of the Yonkers Black clergy held a press conference to announce their support for a redevelopment project for the Glenwood Power Plant in northwest Yonkers. Clergy members representing some of Yonkers' largest faith churches. Is that announced? They put an H there. Announced, and they always want to criticize me. Announced their support for the historic redevelopment project of the plant, a community-oriented and mission-driven real estate development company seeking to undertake the rehabilitation of 2 historic buildings in Yonkers. The power plant, formerly the Glenwood Power Station, and the manor, formerly the W.B. Thompson Mansion, have sat vacant and underutilized for decades. But why? Why? Why has it sat vacant and underutilized for decades? Why? City Council, I know you guys haven't been in there for decades. Well, some of you have. Some of you have been there for decades and done nothing. But why? And it's time that we do something with it. And that's not sell it to a developer. That's not give away the last freaking public park we have along the Hudson for the people. You're not going to get it back. Folks are not going to get it back. They're not. They're not. Who wants to bet me? You guys, anybody? You want to bet? $100. Come on. I bet you we'll never get that back. So if we let it go now, we're done. It's harder to get back. And they may say, oh, we'll give it back, Roberto. We're going to do this. It's going to come with so many restrictions. It's not even going to be funny. Trust me. Trust me. The city council is not doing the city a justice here. And we should all be disappointed at each and every single one of them. Each and every, especially the one that is sitting across the street watching it happen. I'm just saying. The plan is planning to reinvigorate and redevelop both assets into a home for climate solutions, which is BS. Climate change. Listen, let me ask you, if you believe in climate change, can you please tell me, like we're polluting and all that? It's the human during the ice age, when humans didn't exist, nor cars or anything. What melted the ice then? Anybody? Remember, cars and humans were not around. Anybody? Did anybody go green back then? Is that what happened? I mean, exactly. The earth goes through these changes. I mean, read a freaking book. Some of you climate crazies, read a book. Right. So we're not doing any of this. And they want to look, first of all, they say they want to rehab this building. Right. That's right there. There's asbestos and all that. Are they going to remove all that? Is there any lead? Is there any that building needs to be completely knocked down. It takes more money and time to rehab that building than it would to just knock it down and build a new. And according to these developers, 62% of the gas house or greenhouse, whatever greenhouse emissions come from new developments. So all those new developments you're telling us are bad for the climate, Mr. Developer of the power plant. That's what he basically said at the meeting. So if we're caring about the climate, should we then put a halt on all those new developments? I don't know. I mean, does it make sense to you? Because it's all BS. When it's BS, none of it makes sense. So that's what these guys want to do. What is it that they want to put there? What is it that they want to take away our public park and put there? Support within the local community for the ambitious redevelopment of these beloved community assets is growing. Elder Jim Bostic is the executive director of the Nepahan Community Center, where he provides the overall vision and leadership for the organization and is in charge of the overall daily operations. Born and raised in Yonkers, Dr. Bostic has served as a fixture of the Yonkers community, providing invaluable leadership in service of youth, their families, people who are in need, and the cause of racial equality. Yeah, I remember when he did all that. Dr. Bostic, along with Dr. James Hassel, pastor. Oh, I know that guy. I remember he was around with the strip boy shootings and all that. That was in the 2007, 2006-ish. What happened? Anyway, Dr. James Hassel, pastor of Kingdom Christian Cultural Center, Reverend Frank Coleman, pastor of Messiah Baptist Church, again, my condolences, and president of the Yonkers NAACP, Elder Randy Cannon, pastor of Faith Outreach Ministries, Reverend James Booker, pastor of Bethany AME, and praise the plant's focus on elevating the local community through every step of the development process, a consideration that is increasingly rare among real estate developers. Dr. Bostic said that the redevelopment of this historic landmark in Yonkers is long overdue and will bring meaningful and long-lasting amenities for our community. What the hell are those amenities? Can anybody know? We support building the parking deck at JFK Marina. Let me read it there. We support the development of the historic adaptive reuse of the Glenwood Power Plant into the future home for the climate solutions. What? We support the plant's vision to establish a home for climate solutions in Yonkers, whereby new green jobs will be created. What jobs? What jobs? Let's be real, folks. Do you know how many times they say these jobs will be created? For who? Many of the jobs that are created in these developments are not of people from Yonkers. We must keep an accurate count of actually who is hired from Yonkers and what jobs are retained. They hire 150 people from Rockland County or Jersey, and then they retain 2 jobs. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. What jobs? And to who? Don't let these fancy words fool you. It's just words. These are just words. These are just words. Youth and students will be engaged in public educational programs focused on environmental justice, inclusion, and equity, if you can get them off their cell phones. And we're in partnership with local groundwork Hudson Valley. 2 plant greenhouses will provide fresh, free organic produce to the community. Oh, thank you. More food, more free food, more free food. Geez, that has done wonders for my people. We are on top of every Fortune 500 company there is. Hispanics, because we got handouts. And if the meat had not been old, we wouldn't be at the top. We support building a 1-tier parking deck with a sustainable roof park at JFK Marina and park above the existing asphalt parking lot, blocking views. We support building the parking deck at JFK Marina and park above the existing asphalt parking lot, which will contribute over 2 acres of elevated new parkland, preserving vistas and water access at JFK and I-Park in the park. We, whatever. Do you support it? Preserving JFK Park in the opposition to the planned parking garage there is the current sticking point for a majority of the city council. Other Yonkers residents are trying to find a compromise so that the project can be built without building the parking garage at JFK Marina. The developer will have to find an alternative location for parking for their proposed power plant. Now, why do they need a parking lot? Let me ask you. I mean, what are they doing? They're doing some climate change, greenhouse solutions stuff there? What do they need a parking lot for? Why is it that some developments go up with no parking lots and they bypass the law that they have to put a parking lot by putting money into a fund? Yeah, that's right. There's a fund there, like don't build a parking lot fund, because it's much cheaper to put the money in that fund than it is to build a parking lot. Yet, and this is when they're doing residential, right, developments. Yet these guys who want to put some greenhouse environmental Yonkers solution crap, right, want to put the parking lot for what? What's the parking lot for? Am I missing something here? Maybe I didn't read all of it because I am in a rush, right? The meticulous rehabilitation of the power plant and the manor will be centered on historic preservation coupled with sustainable innovation for buildings and the restoration of the ecology of the Hudson River. Did I say that right? The power plant will be transformed into a community amenity and premier office and event space for convenings, workshops, public art, and gatherings that engage entrepreneurs. What the yo? How many of these bullcrap are we going to have here in the city of Yonkers? They got all these networking. That is a freaking fraud. You know what that is? Let's build this crap for now. Once the people forget and enough time has passed, we're going to then take that and build up residential and make it private. Shh. That's why they're putting a parking lot to begin with. Well, they're going to have an event for who? Who's going to be going to that event there? Who? Exactly. They have the ballroom over there on Main Street or on Hudson Street, right? They have the Castle Royale, right? They have a bunch of all these other halls. They have all these entrepreneur places and innovate. What do they just need places for people to think? I don't get it. Scientists, artists, youth, and government to support the future uses of the power plant. The plant is planning to build a parking deck with a rooftop public park at JFK. So I want to put you at the top. You don't want you close to the water. We want you at the top. The new public park will provide a unique and innovative community asset to further activate the waterfront area. How is that further activating the waterfront area? The manor will be transformed into a complementary event space for individuals, corporations, and nonprofits engaged with climate and social justice solutions. What the beep does that mean? What does that mean? And how does that benefit the people of that community who have been impoverished for generations? How and what? This is fancy talk, and it means a bunch of nothing. And that's what upsets me. And all these guys, you guys are hustlers, point blank, period. I've had my experience with one of them, hustler. People I know, I've been around. I know some of these individuals. I'm just so sorry to bust bubbles. That's what I do. And when people have bubbles busted, they don't like it. And they get mad at me, the messenger. One of these gentlemen is no good. I know for a fact. I can't speak on people I don't know, but if I know them for a fact to be no good, I'm going to say it. And they out here hustling. They hustling. They don't care about Yonkers. It's time for a change. I'm Freddie Vasquez, and I'm about to go see Senator Shelley Mayer. And I'm about to go see Assemblyman Nader Sage. Yeah, you're going to see me. Thank you very much. That was your evening rush hour report. I am Freddie Vasquez. They are trying to take this park away from us, and we are going to allow it to happen. Yonkers, man, we tough, and let's fight. This park should not be taken from us. We do not want no rooftop, parking lot, no place to meet and gather for entrepreneurs and corporations. We don't want you there. We have a whole community that needs a lot, and they need that park. And you need to add stuff in that park for the community. How about you create an educational center for the community, for the individuals who live there? Or are you planning to kick them all out?